situation there that you've got wind. Scores could be level on the last end. The opposition skip, you've outplayed them over the day drawing and consistently. You've got the wind there, you think you're going to win it. He has a drive, hits a wide bowl, comes through the head, changes the whole scenario, and you lose the game. In bowls, as you're well aware, of course, of being players as well, between winning and losing could be a bad result for yourself, or the opposition side has got a wide bowl or something. It just changes around. So that's why I call it more of a process goal than an actual outcome goal. That's where we want to achieve. So if we have all these steps and goals in place to get to that, that should be, if everything goes our way, falls our way, that'll be the initial outcome at the end. That's why I call it a process goal.
So what would you call an outcome goal then?
Our outcome goal would be achievable goals, as in, for example, as a player, you want to become more consistent. For a league, for example, you want to say out of your 40 odd bowls in pennant, you want to get 30, 35 bowls in a set area. I can achieve that as an individual. So that's a more of an outcome goal where I can work towards. I can do that, whereas that process goal, it can be a few outside elements that's got to go your way, of course, but if you have all these other goals, or the outcome that I can achieve, put in place, well, I've done everything possible, and the end result will hopefully go your way.
Yeah, just relating to different sports, when I was coaching football, David Parkinson held a seminar, and he said it's virtually like reaching a premiership is going up to the next level, the next floor. You don't do it in one step, you do it in a series of stairs. And that's sort of simplified it, that to get your main goal, you've got to take each step at a time.
Yeah, and that's the same with what I basically sort of just work out. And with premierships, if all the players are on board and they've put all the work in and achieving all their goals going through, really you would think that the end result will come your way.
So if your team made the grand final and you lost it by a shot, would that still be a successful season based on your goal?
Depends on what you set out to do at the start of the year. It might be a scenario that you hadn't made the finals before. So yeah, you could look at that and say that's a successful outcome, getting to the final and losing the game. Debrief the game and work out where things went wrong. Now, it might have been a situation you could have gone back to the very first end of the game and said that I had an opportunity to draw a shot within a metre. I had the consistency built in that 70% of the time I'm going to get within a metre, but on that occasion I didn't give my full concentration to it and I didn't count. It's not the last few ends, it can even be the very first few ends in a game that can actually cost you the game, and that's horrible. So for starters there, I'd say about getting the players together to start working out your goals, of course. And I see one of the coaches here that will be coming to my session on Sunday, because I'm getting the state players together and we'll be working through the same scenario. And we'll be discussing issues. There might be issues as in we don't get enough players here to the club training. That could be an issue. You understand that?
Very much so.
Yeah, it could be an issue, because then all the players that are coming and doing the training, and there's some players tonight just turning up from Saturday to Saturday, are they committed to the club and the team? You know, it could be a little virus sort of creating amongst people to say, well, are they on the same page as us? So you've got to discuss these issues, get them out in the open, so you can start getting that direction to form your goals, of course. You want the players to take ownership of your goals. That's why I was asking the question there before, because I believe that if you've got the players on board taking ownership of those goals, you're going to have a better chance of achieving those goals that you set. If you haven't got the players taking ownership, well, do you think as coaches they could achieve goals if they don't take ownership of them? Don't think so? No, that's all right. As a coach, obviously you'd have goals as well. What do you want to set out and achieve? It's like planning a session out there in training. What do you want to achieve from that session? So obviously you would have a goal as well on that side, correct? So any coaches here got goals what they want to achieve out of being a coach? Yeah, a couple of hands up. Yeah, two hands up. Do you think out there on the training track one of the goals should be is taking them out of their comfort zone? Yeah. How would you like to get a player out there and he hasn't been putting the training in there, he's 5 down and that goal hinges on whether you're going to win or lose the game? Who do you think the player would be? Gets up there with the old shakes and everything like that, of course. We've all been in it. And I dare say everyone's probably been in that situation there at some stage where you've been under pressure. So out on the training track, one of the goals could be taking them out of their comfort zone, putting them under pressure at training. Because really at training it doesn't hinge on anything as the scoreline on the pennant game. You agree with that or disagree? Anyone disagree with that? No? That's good. Another area might be is working on a goal is keep the momentum going. In a game, you might be cruising along, and I know here in South Australia we have a break at after about 12 ends or so. If you're leading by about 10 or 15 shots and you've got the momentum going, all of a sudden you have a break after your team. How many times have you seen the side coming out that was chasing regularly get over the top because you haven't got that momentum going on? So is there somewhere that we could sort of work the energy going in our training for the players to keep that momentum going? Could it be a situation that you have a training drill session there, all of a sudden you call the players off the green and say, well, we're just having a break for a couple of minutes, and then we'll go back out and just see how that momentum goes. That could be a goal area as well. Yes.
And you do it just to get over 4 leads neat before they go out on the green for the second half, just to get the goods going that way.
Yeah. Would you pull the whole team together?
Just the 4 leads.
Just the 4 leads? Why would you just pull the 4 leads together?
So you're going to get that momentum going.
Yeah. But you get the 4 leads going there, you've got all the other guys there talking about, I'm going fishing tomorrow, I'm going to cut lunch, I've got a roast, things like that. You've got their mind on the job, these other guys?
Can't get the whole club just to stop at the doorway.
That's true, but you might set up a goal to say, well, after the afternoon tea, we're going to meet on the corner of the ground and have a quick chat.
Would upset the opposition.
Take them out of the comfort zone. True? Not against the rules. You're coming out from the break, and it's only going to be a couple of minutes, just a little G up to say, right, get our minds back onto the job, away we go. Yes?
I've come across some teams who actually have a set plan of what they're going to do the first end after tea.
Yeah, exactly.
And that's shaken us a couple of times because we didn't. Couple of teams, but one of the particulars got a very short end first, if they got the map.
Yeah.
We're home, we know we've got a very short end, first end after tea. And so if you have a plan of what you're going to do first end after tea, might be the way to go.
Exactly right. You know, everyone's on that same page by getting down, talking as a team, the direction we're going to go. In pennants, first end after tea, we've got a game plan that we're going to be working
Yeah, and in
towards.
practice you can have a break and practice that.
And that's all part of your goals too, is game plan. Yes.
Yeah, one good point about that short end after, if it doesn't work, then you know next time you don't go to short end.
Well,
you learn
that's
from your mistakes.
Yeah, it's
At
all
least
learning.
A plan's better than no plan.
Yeah, and you can discuss that back at your club during your training sessions the next week, can't you? Did it work? Didn't it work? That's where you've also got to debrief too. So as coaches, you might have to set up as your goal to say, right, I've got to make time to debrief the game with the players. So, yes, you were going to ask a question there.
I always believe
And the day I